Hi, everyone. This is Kate O'Neill, and I am going to be your host tonight for the first new season of Kiss My Keister. Kiss My Keister is a show where we talk about all the things that are going on in the neighborhood, in the city, in the state, in the country, and around the world. This is a show about things that really chap your hide. If it doesn't chap your hide, it ought to. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about fun things that you see online every day. And we're going to talk about some things that might make you a little nervous, but we have a good time with it. So today's guest host is going to be Joe Riggio. He has a show on Society Bites Radio called Socially Joe. So you'll get to stop in and listen to some of his recordings and find out more about what Joe does. I've been with Society Bites Radio for a really long time now. And what we try to do is bring a little piece of the world to everyone's home. Tonight, though, you're just going to have fun. We're going to relax a little bit. We're going to have some laughs, and we're going to talk about some serious subjects. So if you are ready for some fun, you are ready for Kiss My Keister. Now, there's a quick story behind that Kiss My Keister. Won't keep you behind too long, but one day I had a flat tire. Now, that flat tire upset me because I was busy. I was working. And I had to call someone, and I found out there was a tow truck and a tire place 2 blocks from where I was sitting with my flat tire. The guy at the auto store brings over a flatbed truck, not a tire, a flatbed truck for 2 blocks. Loaded my car up, drove it 2 blocks, and then had the audacity to tell me he was going to charge me $70 for that 2-block trip. Now, of course, I was not very happy about this, and I refused to pay for the tow. I said, I will pay for the tire, but I will not pay for the tow. You could have just as easily brought a jack and a tire over. This was not something, this was not rocket science. This was a flat tire. So, needless to say, I paid for the tire, got the car going, took off, and went and had a job that I had to be someplace for 24 hours. I got up the very next morning, went out to my truck, getting ready to go, and guess what? Another flat tire. Yay! Now I've got to call a friend who can't be there for another 48 hours to help me out. Luckily, the job lasted through till Monday or Tuesday the following week, so I had plenty of time over the weekend. So we take the tire off the truck. We load the tire in the car. We go back to the tire place, and I walk in with my tire that's flat, and I'm telling the guy, you gave me a bad valve, I need the tire fixed, and I need it fixed now. And he says, oh, well, we're going to have to charge you for the tube, we're going to have to charge you for a new tire, we're going to have to charge you for putting it on there. And I said, excuse me. And I walked out. And I went to my friend who was sitting in the car, and I said, you know what? You're going to have to handle this, because if you don't, somebody is going to die today. I just know it. Oddly enough, my friend, who was a male, goes back there, spends less than 5 minutes talking to these people, comes out free of charge with my new tire. Now, if that doesn't chap your hide, I don't know what does. So when I developed this show, I was looking for something that people could relate to. I really wanted it to be called Kiss My Ass. But as we found when we went to find the domain name for the show, unfortunately, that domain had been taken. But it gave me my best and favorite byline. When you have something that you'd like to say, Kiss My Keister, just remember, it's because your ass was taken. We'll be right back after these words.
Hey, this is Dr. Himmer. If you like what you're hearing on Authentically You with me and my bride Sherry, we've written a course for you. It's complimentary and can be found on himmerinstitute.com. Do you have a thorn in your side that you'd like to pull out? The first course is a one-day solution on how to soften a toxic relationship with a loved one. Is that thorn your boss? I'm a specialist in workplace bullying, and I've written a course on dealing with a toxic supervisor. So click on over to himmerinstitute.com and start working on your thorns.
And we are back. We are back with Kiss My Keister because our ass was taken. I've got my co-host with me today, Joe Riggio from Socially Joe on Society Bites Radio. Welcome to the show, Joe. How you doing?
Thank you, Kate. I am so happy to be part of the show. You just don't understand. Podcasting is a good fashion to get your voice out there and everything. And I know you kind of mentioned Socially Joe. And to give everyone a little taste about Socially Joe is very informative. I bring local business owners onto my show. We talk about interesting things about what they do and how they rose to where they are and where, they can give you some helpful hints without slandering. But then also I'm very caring, and I like to invite once a month a nonprofit on, a local nonprofit, and we get to learn about them, how they support their community, how you can donate and support them. So other than that, this is going to be kind of out of my comfort zone because I try to avoid politics and all that stuff, but I love talking about certain things. So obviously people know me very well, so don't take offense.
Hey, Joe, I get it. I really do. It's this is the, what do they call that? The maiden voyage here on Kiss My Keister, and it's the first time we've brought it back in probably over a year, maybe even longer than that. So I'm really glad to get us back on the air again. But I got to admit, I'm a little nervous. I'm having a little trouble breathing. I'm stuttering. So just be patient with me, because I promise you, it will get worse.
And I'm probably assuming this is correct.
I have my moments where I just can't possibly breathe, I just get that nervous. Then I start sweating. Oh, no, that's when I drink too much. All right, we'll keep going here.
Well, I kind of get where you're coming from. Everyone feels nervous, gets the sweats, gets hot and heated about passionate things about they want to talk about, whether it be about politics or finances or something. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone's opinion is validated. But it's always good I always say to everyone, I will play the devil's advocate, and let's flip the coin and look on the other side, because what's on the other side does make sense if you look at it. But obviously, both sides have validated points. You just have to see it on both sides.
All right, since you brought that up, there's a little story that came out in the news not too long ago, and I've been a little bit curious as to how and why this even happened. There is a bank up north where two of the burglars who decided they were going to go rob the bank, they were disguised in something pretty seedy, you might say. And I quote, "Police in Louisiana, Virginia took to social media in hopes of finding two men accused of robbing a convenience store with watermelon rinds on their heads." And here I thought it was a bank. It's not. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't watermelon a fruit?
Yes, it is. It quite is.
Okay. And once you eat the watermelon, what do we normally do with? We throw the rinds out, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, I think there's some money to be made here on the other side of the fence. People are looking for disguises all the time. Who'd have thunk it? Watermelon rinds, why not?
Well, you bring up a very interesting point on this because let's go with the masks that everyone has to wear nowadays.
Oh, but what a good segue.
Yeah, but let's talk about this because this is so funny. Nowadays we have to wear masks, and at the very beginning when people were starting to wear masks, I actually saw pictures and memes where people were crafting half-made things of either plastic bags over their head or anything out of the ordinary, which is so weird. And just to hear this is just even right out there in the
Well,
world.
to know that somebody actually robbed someone wearing a watermelon rind really cracked me up because it says the police are still on the lookout for a second person. Now, I have to ask you, is it honeydew that they're looking for? Is it mushmelon? Yeah, what would be the, you got Batman and Robin, you got, Superman and Lois Lane. Who would be the combo for that?
I would definitely say cantaloupe. Definitely.
Cantaloupe?
But what really cracks me up, and I really want to know, because I would love to see the pictures, is were there eye holes and mouth cut out just like a jack-o'-lantern? Because that would have been epic to see that. See them say, freeze, give me your money, and see like this carved out thing and be like, is it Halloween already? I don't know what's going on here.
Well, how are they holding up the store? What are they doing? Spitting seeds at the guys?
They could be flicking them.
Well, they could be flicking them, I suppose. So, I'm getting this visual in my head of a short, dumpy guy with a watermelon on his head, or a tall, skinny guy with a really long head wearing an Arkansas Diamondback. Now, those are long watermelons.
See, you know more about watermelons than I do. I just know they're like ovalish, and you cut them, and they taste good.
They have round ones. They have round ones too.
I've seen those.
Yeah, those are pretty good. But either way, does that mean that he can put it over his shoulders too? I mean, how big is this watermelon?
Well, that's once again, we'd have to see how this was cut out. Was it cut out like at the base, and then they just put it like shoulder pads on them, or did they actually cut it at the top or like on the sides, and then where? We don't know.
Well, I don't know. But I when I was younger, we used to take watermelon and we'd fill it with vodka or rum and let it sit for a day or two in the fridge before the party. I'm wondering if that's where they got the rinds. They had the party before, got totally, and decided we're going to go rob somebody. Well, what are we going to use for mass? Well, we just ate the watermelon. I got a half. You can have a half.
Well, I've heard some pretty crazy stories about parties and how people just think after the end of it. So it would not surprise me if that was something, or it could have been a dare. We don't know if it was a dare to say, hey, look, I dare you to run into the store with this. People are getting very desperate for things now. We don't know what's going on.
I don't want to be a part of that. Just don't want to be there. But I got to tell you, that's one for me. I've never seen it or heard that before, but I like it. Now, in that same vein, we're talking another serious newscast that came out. A gay superhero would finally give LGBTQ kids the representation they need. So why are we still waiting? Now, the odd thing about this particular article was they said that they think, and who they are, I guess, are the movie producers or the writers and directors. Not sure how this is being handled. But they think, or they're telling us, that the new movie Valkyrie will be a bisexual There will be a bisexual in Thor: Love and Thunder. Brian Tyree Henry's Phastos is reported to have a husband in the Eternals. So I'm curious, what kind of a costume are we going to put this superhero in? That's a very interesting question. I don't know, and I couldn't even fathom, but it is very interesting what you mentioned about Valkyrie and what she might be and all this other stuff, because if you noticed, since probably mid-90s, I want to say, there was introduction of gay characters, whether they be cartoon or whatever, throughout the time. And because of this, we never thought, like, you remember, what is it? The Teletubbies, the purple one. Teletubbies, yes.
Yeah. Tiddlywinks. I think it was Tiddlywinks, the purple one. And everyone just went totally bonkers over Tiddlywinks. And then people looked at Bert and Ernie and said, oh, well, they must be gay because they're living together and all this other stuff. And then I think Sesame Street came out and said they were. I don't know, but that's what I heard. Who knows? But
Well, how do you explain Snuffleupagus?
He's imaginary.
Oh,